Hi, I'm Randy Altman with Post Perspective. We're here at SIGGRAPH 2016, and to my right is Mark Hamaker from Autodesk.
Hey, it's nice to see you. We have to
Nice.
stop meeting at these trade shows randomly.
It's every trade show, but it's good because you guys always have news. And yesterday I was at your press conference, and I know that you have updates. So I'm just going to rattle them off, and then I'm going to make you go through them one by one.
Sure.
So you've got Maya 2017, Maya LT 2017, an update to Stingray.
Yeah.
And I'm missing, a plugin for 3ds Max for Arnold integration.
Yeah, and some other things out there.
What I don't know, I don't remember what I missed, but
Yeah,
but I'm gonna,
no, but those are really the big things. So, I think the biggest news, people are excited about Maya 2017. We didn't announce Maya 2017 earlier in the year, and I think people are saying, oh, what's coming? And, it's actually a really big release, so we're excited about that. Ton of new features. But I think the news that everybody's talking about is some of the changes in terms of rendering. So we've actually integrated Arnold functionality into Maya, which is, I think, not unexpected after we acquired SolidAngle earlier this year. But what's great is, what we tried to do is basically give people a great renderer out of the box in Maya that brings the functionality of Arnold. Now, it's not a full Arnold license, it's not a standalone version of it, but within Maya you have an interactive preview window that's showing you what your Arnold render will look like. You can render inside of Maya like sequences or render a frame there, and it's giving you that full Arnold kind of quality and what people expect. So we think people will really like that. It's also going to expose Arnold to a lot of people out there who have maybe not used it before. But at the same time, we want to reassure people we support really an open rendering ecosystem. So while we'll include Arnold as the functionality that should be there out of the box, you should be able to render and get great looking images and take advantage of all the good things about Arnold. But if you want to continue using Mental Ray, that's great. If you use V-Ray, that's great. We'll continue to support other renderers. It's not about limiting people. It's about giving them the functionality. And if they choose Arnold, that's great. But if they also want to work with other things, we're going to support that too. We just want people to make great looking stuff with our software.
well, at NAB, I mean, a lot of what you talked about was rendering, including rendering in the cloud. So you're on that path. I mean, like you said, it's all about just making the best images that you can make.
Yeah.
Was it the Google rendering system that you had at NAB?
Yeah, so we announced a collaboration with Google and their Zinc rendering platform, which supports rendering with Arnold or V-Ray, I think RenderMan as well. And that's really just, that's an important component to us. I mean, we're excited to have SolidAngle as part of our family now, and it means we can do things like put great rendering into our own products, but we also have great core rendering technology that we're thinking about for the cloud and other things. We're not announcing anything specific yet. We're working with people like the great folks over at Zinc to offer services like that. But what's interesting, especially about rendering, is it's one of those things that people need to do, and they need that capacity. So having that ability to scale is what's really important. I think what's interesting for us having the technology in-house is, capacity is one thing. It's fairly easy today to go out and render in the cloud. You can send files off and have them rendered. There's a bit more complexity around taking custom pipelines and some of the more unique things that people are doing up to the cloud, because that doesn't always exist. So I think a lot of our guys are looking at things like that. We're even presenting a talk on, I can't remember the exact name of it, but we'll put it online with our Vision series about our guys on the rendering team looking at what it's going to take to go that next step of cloud. What does it take to bring more than just a render job to the cloud, but the pipeline, the complexity that people build into their own workflows and simulations and other things that people want to offload from local rendering. So it's a big area of focus for us, but I think just like Shotgun, bringing these things into our family allows us to kind of support all of our users better. I think it just, we were kind of saying it's stronger together, I think was one of the phrases we used last night at the press event, but it's really true. We want to be able to figure things out for customers that are doing very complex things and then kind of democratize those for the more generalist users. And I think Arnold's a good example of that, something that started at very top studios. Now we're making it available to everybody that's using Maya in a forum. I think things like Bifrost we talked about last night, there's some updates to Bifrost. That's a great solution to people that are looking for simulations, again, out of the box. Our top customers are still going to write their own tools and their plug-in vendors that specialize in this, but we want people to, again, have that functionality when they use the product. So.
Now, in terms of games, do you want to touch on, I guess it's Stingray, and is it Maya LT? Is that who that's more targeted at?
Yeah, well, I think, so Maya LT is really, we designed that for the indie market. It's, I think Max and Maya are still huge in games. So a lot of the updates and things like, just to give you an example, we've made improvements to the animation system in both Maya and Maya LT. The new time editor, improvements to the graph editor, that's in both of those softwares. The difference with Maya LT is that it's $30 a month is US pricing, and it's got a limited feature set compared to Maya, and the idea there is we've given kind of just what's needed for character and asset creation, really targeting indies, the lower poly stuff, probably things that are either going to run, not saying all indies are lower poly, but again, trying to get a solution that fits that market without having to pay for that full subscription of Maya. It's a great way to start out, kind of being cost effective there. And there's a limited feature set, but we don't limit the tools that we really put in there. Like I said, Quick Rig, the graph editor, the time editor, those tools are the same in Maya and Maya LT essentially. But it's about putting the right functionality for the market it's designed for. I think that's it. So for games, it's a great story. Maya LT updates, it's been going very well for us. Stingray as well. Stingray is a still relatively new game engine, and I think it's kind of finding its place in games, and we've actually included it with Maya LT. So if folks subscribe to Maya LT, they can get access to Stingray as part of that subscription, and that's been interesting as we see people start to use it. I think what's really interesting, it kind of goes back to our first conversation about how we have this core technology, because what's great about Stingray is we can create a game engine with it, but we also take that core tech and start using it in other places. So, at NAB we talked about Flame having some Stingray-enabled compositing and some tools that just take traditionally heavy tasks like motion blur and ambient occlusion, and it gets very fast and interactive in Flame. That's kind of a unique use for that Stingray technology. We also just launched a product called Autodesk Live for the architectural space last week that takes, it's the ability to take a Revit model, use the cloud to strip down all the extra data you don't need, and prep something that comes down as an interactive sort of scene you can explore, and under the hood Stingray's powering that. And that's kind of cool, we're not pushing that as a game engine, that's really just an ability made possible because we have that technology in our portfolio.
Okay, I'm going to let you go in 15 seconds, but just talk about the plugin for 3ds Max and Arnold.
Yes, don't want to forget Max. So we announced 3ds Max 2017 back in April, so we're not actually announcing an update for Max at SIGGRAPH. There will probably be some news about Max soon in terms of a full update. But people in the Max community have wanted access to Arnold for a long time. We talked to the Solid Angle guys. They showed me their email queue. It's full of people saying, when is Max going to be, when is Max going to be supported? So we're calling it a preview and kind of a 0.5 release because not all the functionality is there yet. It works. It's actually, I think the Max team and the Solid Angle team outdid themselves getting this release ready. And we really are excited that people can start using it today. And we're going to keep iterating that. There'll be more and more functionality until we get it up to where it is kind of fully functioned. And we think Max users are going to love it. The reaction so far has been great. And it's also great for customers that have mixed pipelines. They're using Maya and Houdini and other tools that are rendering in Arnold, and we don't want Max to be left out of that. So, initially for pipeline consistency, I think it's great, but going forward, I think Max users are going to really benefit from having this other option when it comes to picking a renderer.
Very cool. Mark, thank you so much. Mark Hamica from Autodesk. I'm Randy Altman with Post Perspective, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.